Welcome family, thanks for joining me. Last week it rained every single day for 7 days. I couldn't get out and work in my garden or my yard, so I decided to work on a fall table runner for my table this fall. And I'm making yo-yos out of beautiful fall colors and fabric that I had in my stash. And yo-yos are so easy to make and they look so pretty. And I've created a nice table runner to put on my table. It's very easy. This is perfect for beginner sewers, and I think you would love this idea. So let's get busy making some yo-yos. I've got different colors of fabric, orange, green, black, and then I have a really pretty fall pumpkin pattern that I needed to use up. The black will be a table runner base, and then the yo-yos will go on top. So let's first learn how to make a yo-yo. It's very easy. I've been teaching my granddaughter how to do it, but you just fold over a circle cut piece of fabric and you take a needle and you go in and out, straight stitching all the way around the circle. Now you can make your circles different sizes. I use mainly lids off my plasticware or bowls or plates to draw out patterns for circles. The bigger the circle, the bigger the yo-yo is going to be. The smaller the circle, the smaller the yo-yo. So this was the size that I chose to do for this table runner. And again, you're just going in and out of the fabric all the way around, creating this round little button we call a yo-yo. This yo-yo design has been for years. People have made this. It's nothing new. It's an old skill, and I really enjoy it. It just helps relax my mind. I sit down at night with a big bag by my couch and I work on making these yo-yos. So as you can see, you go all the way around, and when you get to the end, I go in one more stitch to kind of really secure it, and then I tie a knot. But you can see what I'm doing. I'm gathering this thread really tight, and then I'm going to go back in and make one more little stitch. I'm going to put the needle through the thread so that it will kind of make a knot, and then I'll tie one more knot. And you want your yo-yo secured with a couple of knots so that it doesn't come apart. And then trim the thread close to the yo-yo. And that's how easy it is. Might take you some practice if you've never done this before, but it's perfect for beginner sewers. And then you just snip off the thread. So we're going to start now with my base. And I just decided how long and how wide I wanted it, and I cut it out of some cotton fabric on the fold. So when you open it up, there's two sides. And I cut a piece of cotton batting that will go in between the two black pieces and really make it nice and heavy duty to sit on the table. So I've laid the batting on top of the black fabric, and I'm going to go around and pin all the way around. If you don't want to do this step, if you're a beginner sewer, I would suggest you get some black felt and you cut this out of that. You don't have to hem it, you don't have to sew it, and you can adhere your yo-yos to the black felt, and that will work perfect. So I have sewn all the way around, and I've left an opening so that I can go back and turn this out. See the opening I've left there? But first we need to trim. You always trim off the excess so that you have nice seams. So trim it around, all the way around with the scissors. And now it's time to turn. So I go to the opening and I'm just going to carefully pull the end through and then just turn it all the way down to the other end. You're just pulling all that fabric through itself. Now I use a long yarn needle. I went back in through the opening and just pushed out my points so that they're nice and crisp. You can use a pencil, you can use whatever you have, but I like the yarn needle. It's long and it goes right in. And then after I got all my points pulled out, it's time to press. And so using a nice hot iron, I go over it and I press down all the seams. And then you can see I have a pin where that opening is. I folded that carefully under, and so when I go back around and top stitch, I will catch that opening and it won't be there anymore. So now you can see I've got a pretty nice long table runner. I'm going to go back and top stitch all the way around and then close up that opening. So now it's time to kind of decide how I want to lay out my yo-yos. So I'm just carefully laying these down, arranging the colors, trying to decide what kind of pattern I want to do. And I want both ends to be the same. So I marked the center of this and put a pin in, and I wanted to leave an opening so I could put a candle and some bigger pumpkins around the candle. And that needs to sit nice and flat. So I left an opening in the middle so that I could set a candle in. Now you could do this for Christmas. If you wanted to get really crafty and creative, you could make some Christmas table runners. So I'm thinking about that for presents. So now instead of sewing, this is what's great for beginners, I'm just going to hot glue these yo-yos down onto the mat. And I kind of went over the edge so you really don't see the mat underneath. So as I'm looking and as I'm placing them in their right place, I just put a little dab of hot glue and hold it for a second. You could sew all this down, but I don't have time for that right now, and it looks just as pretty as if when you hot glue it, as if you sew it. So I carefully laid out all the pieces, and if I needed to make a few extra, I stopped and did that. But I had plenty of yo-yos because I like to make these at night. We went on a road trip, so I carried my bag of yo-yos in the car and sewed those while we were on the trip, so I had plenty made. That's why it's good to start these projects now in the summer, because you can get a lot of Christmas presents made in the summer by just making these yo-yos. So as you can see, I'm just going around and hot gluing these all in place. Very easy. Once I got this end done, I switched it around and I did the other end, matching this end to the other end. Again, you can see how easy this is and how perfect it is for beginners. Once it's all finished, I'm going to make some pumpkins, and I'll do a video on that using the same technique but with a much bigger circle, and then you stuff it with stuffing. So I'll show that, working on those to put in the center. Now there's the finished product, and you can see where I left the center open. See how pretty all those yo-yos look. I left the center open for a candle, and I'm going to be making some circle pumpkins to fill around that candle. Very easy, and I think it turned out very nice. The fabric I purchased at Walmart. They have these really nice 1 yard packaged pieces. Very inexpensive, and I was able to find some nice colors for fall. But I am going to go back and look for Christmas ideas. And this is my next video, so stay tuned, subscribe, and like if you'd like to see the pumpkins that are made using this same technique. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share this with somebody that's crafty, and I hope you have a very blessed day.